So Jalen Carter has been a hot topic in all of the NFL, but with the Lions, because I think...
And on the restaurant circuit.
And on the restaurant circuit as well. I did see that. But
Shoney's.
I think we would agree right now that the odds of Jalen Carter falling to the Lions are much, much higher than I would have thought when this whole process sort of started. And Jalen Carter, it looks like there is a resolution to at least his legal part of the issue. Georgia defensive tackle Jalen Carter will receive no jail time. Carter will receive 12 months probation, pay a $1,000 fine, and perform 80 hours of community service. So I guess in reality, that's behind him. Obviously, there's some trauma that comes along with that. So with all of that being said, with everything in legality being behind him, and with that disappointing pro day, I would say, are you scared off Braylon Edwards from drafting Jalen Carter if he falls to 6?
No, if you believe that Jalen Carter is everything that you said he was, and all through the season last year, all August through December, through January, up until the combine, if everyone believes that this is who Jalen Carter is, if this is what if this is what the Detroit Lions have scouted since August, is this is what they've scouted during the season, and if this is what they've seen, and this is who they believe he is, no, I don't care about that. So what? He had a bad 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? In 1 week, he thought he was going number 1 overall. Then on that day, he finds out that they warned for his arrest. Then now he has to go to Athens. Now he has to figure this out. Now, oh man, is he going to be number 1? Is he still going to be top 10? Is he even going to be in the first round? Is he even going to be drafted? He probably was eating a little bit, was hanging out, probably drinking a little bit. Like, hey man, this is depression that you're dealing with. You're trying to figure out. He's also still dealing with that loss. Like, he was there the night that thing happened. So I think he's still a kid. People got to look at it like that. He's still young. He was in a bad spot, bad decision. He gets away, essentially, $1,000, no jail time. This is still your guy. If that's the things you believe, minus this situation, are still in play, he has from March to September to get his fat ass in shape for my team. He's got more than enough time. I think you still draft him at number 1. Now, if you were just buying the hype that people were putting out there throughout the year, and this Georgia defense anchored by the dominant Jalen Carter, and what he did to I forgot when they played TCU. If you got tricked into it because of that, now you need to pay attention to who's in that draft. Now you need to look at some other guys like, hey, what's Tyree Wilson really talking about? Hey, what's this guy really talking about? If you got on the hype train, then definitely you need to get off of it. But if this is something you did your due diligence on, you got from March to September to get Jalen Carter in shape. And you see the type of team that the Detroit Lions have. Aiden Hutchinson, Isaiah Buggs, them guys ain't going for that BS. They're not going for you out all night party and speed and racing down Woodward. They're not going for that. They're on a mission. Grit, determination. They're trying to win the NFC North. Sometimes you got to be in situations like that. I'll give you a quick story. When I was at Michigan, Jason Avant, I recruited him, I hosted him. Jason Avant's out of Chicago. Now, the Jason Avant Jason Avant is spiritual. He's God-fearing. He's an amazing individual. No teammate will ever tell you anything bad about Jason Avant. But when he was coming out of Garfield, when he was coming out of Carnegie Woods in Chicago, South Side, he was out here. Like Jason Vaughn, and he tells the story, so this isn't anything I'm like snitching on whatever. And he tells the story all the time when he's preaching. He talks about where he was. I remember when he first came in, he liked getting in the fights. And then eventually we weren't going for that in Michigan. And the older guys, the Victor Hobsons, the Cato Junes, the Ron Bellamy, shout out to Ron Bellamy in Michigan, they were like, this isn't what we do here. Changed his life. He became Baptist. He said, actually went to the same church as my grandma. But what I'm saying is he got around the right people. He changed his life. And nobody will tell you anything negative about Jason Avant. That's the type of team the Detroit Lions have, and I believe they can do that for Jalen Carter.
I'm looking forward to the draft so much. I cannot wait till it gets here. And the more I look at the draft and the more mock drafts you do and you look at, it's a real possibility that he can fall to number 6, unless Seattle somehow comes up and grabs him. And I still believe that they're going to take a quarterback. I don't know. I just don't think that they're going to put all their eggs in the basket with Geno Smith. Yeah, they paid him, but they paid him for a couple of years. Let's face it, those contracts are not even worth the paper they printed on.
He sees 50 of that this year.
Yeah,
His
he's going
deal-
to get most of his money.
Yeah, he get
up
50
front.
this year.
So if he's there, Sam, I'm going to ask you because I asked these guys already. If he's there at 6, you know the Bears want him.
Yeah.
They're at 9. If you looked at him and you listened to Todd McShay and earlier
Todd.
to say Todd that he's got issues, then he gets in the car accident, and now he's off the hook for that. But you see, maybe there's something in his past that you don't like. Would you be willing to swap that pick and drop down to 9?
If I had those feelings, I would. But at this point, I would still draft Jalen Carter because to me, as I've said many, many times before, he is one of the can't-miss prospects in the draft, and I know that because I actually watched the tape. And that just doesn't lie. He is one of the most dominant defensive tackle prospects of the past 10 years. I believe his floor is something along the lines of a Christian Wilkins, but his ceiling could be Chris Jones, Quinn Williams type player, and especially on this defense where it is a need.
Yeah.
I mean, a major need, one of the major needs, and especially what that can do for people like Aiden Hutchinson and James Houston. A lot of the attention will then go to a Jalen Carter. I believe he steps right in right away, becomes a linchpin in the run defense, provides some pressure up the middle, and takes some of the double teams away from Aiden Hutchinson. I think it would do wonders for Aiden Hutchinson, who already was great his rookie season. Like, I'd say Pro Bowl and All-Pro loading for Aiden Hutchinson if they go after Jalen Carter.
The thing with Jalen Carter is we know what he's going to be. Like, the people that know, the people that study film, the people that, like, we know what he has the potential to be. Or we know that even when he's not trying, what he's going to be and what he can be. You got to get this guy. You show me a team, Maz, and Maz, you don't, Lawrence Taylor is your favorite player.
Yeah.
You show me a team that has won a Super Bowl, Flannel Sam, Tom Mazaway, that didn't have a couple of those players on the team.
Dogs.
Of those players on the team. Players that are either dogs that people say negative things about because they don't know, or they may have had a thing or two that has happened in the past that clouds the vision of who that player is. Whether it was in high school, whether it was in college, whether it was maybe even in the first year in the NFL. No team has won a Super Bowl with just good Christians praising the Lord and I'm just saying my prayer. No team has ever won a Super Bowl with 100 of those guys.
I mean, and I'm sure you've been on teams where
Yes.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you to name names, but you've been on some teams that made
Yeah,
AFC
name
Championship. No, obviously,
For sure.
Don't do that, Braylon. But
No,
that's
I'm not going to name
I
names.
know.
I mean, it should me to a certain extent. I mean, you could look at the New York Jets and be like, hey, they took a chance on him after what happened with LeBron's boy in Cleveland, blah, blah, blah. They took a chance on picking up. You're damn right they did. We went to back-to-back AFC championships.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to take chances on guys like that. And that was just like light, by the way.
Oh yeah, and I will say this.
kick some ass.
Let me just give maybe a little bit of a devil's advocate because I was thinking about this. I personally would still take Jalen Carter, but one thing that concerns me with his pro day performance, where he was overweight and a little out of shape, I wonder if he has the makeup to sort of be able to handle what occurred that night and channel that into being a great football player, because it's obvious that incident in which two people lost their lives, it wasn't necessarily Jalen Carter's fault, but he was racing them. I wonder if that wore on him a bit, because obviously I would think if he was just having a great offseason, had never gone out that night, that he would go into his pro day in the best shape of his life, maybe a little even slimmer than his playing weight, and really just knock it out of the park and leave no doubt that he should be a top 3 pick. So we talk about... I can't wait for that sound, JB. So we talk about...
You'd be tired of it by that time.
We talk
I
about...
do have some breaking news too whenever you guys get a second.
Ooh.
You know what? After this, I will go right to you, JB, because I cannot wait to hear this. But I just want to kind of give a little bit of I wouldn't say a cause for pause. Jalen Carter, I think he is... I don't know if he really is that sort of dog in these regards. I think he actually has empathy and guilt about what happened that night. And I just need to be sure that he can channel that in a way of sort of, I am going to live my life the best way that I can as a dominant football player, channel that. But I don't know.
Empathy and guilt based on what?
Well,
What would the empathy and guilt be based on?
it would be based on the fact that one of his teammates died, and I'm not saying it's Jalen Carter's fault,
Right.
but he was in that kind of racing him, and a athletic trainer who actually probably made the dumbest decision of them all. God rest her soul. She drove drunk and she died, and it's gonna weigh on somebody no matter what whether their involvement or not. I just hope that Jalen Carter can snap out of it in time for his NFL career because he has so much talent.